it's just this class that I really want to focus on because I'm so behind, and it's kind of stressful. And yeah,
All right, now tell me what tells you that you are behind.
um, basic. Well, like how I see on Edgenuity, it tells me like how many like assignments, like missing assignments that I have or overdue assignments that I have, and then it tells me like how many hours it would take me to like finish the work, and every day the hours just keep getting higher. I'm more and more behind, and
All right.
yeah.
Now, how would you feel if I told you that that can be adjusted?
I mean, I guess I would feel better if it could be.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me this then. Remind me of a few things now. When is your targeted graduation semester?
Um, I was planning on graduating, like at the end of the year, in the spring.
Okay, so is that what we would call the regular time? You're not graduating early?
Yeah.
All right. How many more math classes do you have to take? That's the first way I'll ask it.
I believe this is the last math that I have to take.
Okay, so we have to do pre-cal A, pre-cal B, and we're done.
Yes.
All right. How about your other classes? Now, I've looked at your transcript, but not closely enough to know exactly what remains before graduation. So,
Um, I just the literature class that I'm taking. I just need the whole year for that, and that's the last literature class I need, and I only need one semester of econ, and so yeah, that's
okay.
it.
All right. Then yeah, you're in good shape then. Then here's my prescription. Yeah. Well, I have to make a diagnosis first. My diagnosis is it wouldn't hurt you to just slow down and take your time. Here's why I say that. Now, in my time, and I've talked to you enough now for you to know I'm almost an old guy. I just hope I don't look like one, but I am one. You are far from clueless. Is that a fair way to say it? You're a
Yes.
long way from that. And you're the type of student that I say, wow, if she takes her time and I take my time with her, she's probably going to mess around and become a lover of math in some way that will be beneficial to her people, whoever your people might be. So that's enough promise for me to say, yeah, it's okay for you to slow down. And if the stress is around ingenuity, see, here's where I tell you that a lot of ingenuity is a mind game. Is that a fair statement? All right, so here's the mind game. We're ingenuity. We want you to finish classes because when you finish a class, we get paid because we're hosting the class. We want you to take as many classes as possible. You with me so far?
Yes.
Now, that's where we stand. We're ingenuity. We're a company. We partner up with high schools like Marietta High School who have interests that align with ours. Marietta wants you to finish classes so that you can graduate because Marietta's in the business of graduating. So if Ingenuity, who is in the business of you finishing classes, partners with Marietta, who is in the business of graduating, that's a win-win for them both. And it ends up being a win for the students who can complete classes, particularly if they are off track in any way for graduating. They can accelerate their pace to graduation. And if they can do that, that's going to make them happy. That's going to make Ingenuity happy. That's going to make Marietta happy. You know, the only people who won't be happy in that situation are your teachers. Your teachers want you to learn what the heck you are doing,
Yeah.
even if it takes you a little bit longer. Because if it does take you a little bit longer and you get it, then your knowledge is going to be that much stronger. And you're going to be very useful to someone that you will encounter down the road, whether that's an employer, whether that's a student, whether it's a sibling, a friend. You're going to be of use to somebody because you will know what the heck you're doing. So as your teacher, I have to understand all these other agendas, if you will, and then understand my own agenda, if you will, and then figure out how to make it all work. Because see, once you start Edgenuity's class at Marietta High School, I'm the one that's there walking all those steps with you, and they're not. So in a lot of ways, I may have something closer to the last word. And the last word today is, yeah, there is nothing to me going into your Edgenuity profile and saying, okay, let's take heaven off this 9-week course completion pace that benefits the high school, that benefits Edgenuity, but may not necessarily benefit heaven or me as her teacher, and let's adopt a more conservative and slower 15-week pace. Now, what would that look like? Well, that looks like me changing a date is all that looks like. But now, big picture, that says heaven may finish pre-cal A 3 to 4 weeks before the end of the semester. And now, do you know what's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. That was a trick question. Because we know your situation, which is restated for all those folks out there in cyberspace and whoever might be listening. Hopefully nobody, but you never know. We're trying to graduate. We're in pre-cal A. We have to take pre-cal A and pre-cal B before May 2020, which means there's nothing wrong at all with us slowing down. Because if we get pre-cal A in 15 weeks, then we can at least start. Even if we can't officially start pre-cal B, we can preview pre-cal B and know what we will be up against after the Christmas holidays. And we will start with that class in January, and then we will move forward in math harmony.
Okay.
Don't that sound like it came right off a TV movie? But seriously though, doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now, if there were any other situation in play, well, I would make a plan, a patient plan, based on that situation, which is what I have done. I mean, I know your situation. You and I have looked at your transcript. I even turned your transcript into one of my classroom memes, so I can show folks, here's some of the things you can do in Microsoft Excel with a transcript, and nobody knows that that's your transcript, but me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, because I thought about what we talked about yesterday a lot, and I went back and looked at those problems, and then I even thought about, hey, old guy, you have studied the sinusoidal modeling of movement a lot more than a little bit, and a lot more than most people, and you know it's actually important. Yeah, I do. I do. But I also know that it ain't going to be important to everybody in the same way. So I said, well, if you were going to show any of your students why it's important, let's say they at least indulged you and say, well, show me why this thing is so important. What would you show them? And I came up with something. I said, well, I would show them how a motor works, even though that still may not float your boat. You may say, okay, well, wonderful, but I don't care how a motor works. Then I know that that's actually okay, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the world wasn't designed for everybody to like everything that everybody else likes or to want to learn everything else that everybody else has learned. The world was kind of designed so that everybody could learn and grow and then figure out how to apply themselves to the world around them to kind of make it a little bit more like a world they want to live in. And everybody's going to find a different path there. I used to think that my path to changing the world was going to be through engineering, analysis, and design. And truthfully, it is. But I have taken everything that I saw in those classes that made sense and did not make sense, and I've figured out how to make them make sense and apply them to the problems of our existing state, like the problems that exist around us. I take an engineering design approach to what I see going on around me every day, and those aren't technical problems. And the approach that I take is not really technical, but it is based on the engineering design approach. You see a problem, you define that problem, you put words to it. What do I see and what is wrong with it? And now what would I actually do about it? And then how would I start? And then what would I do if I figure out that what I'm doing is not working? How would I adjust? And then how would I know that what I'm doing is working and it's time for me to stop doing this and go do something else? See, all of that is the engineering design approach through and through. It's how you attack and solve problems, whether they are technical, or social, or hidden, or some combination of all of those things. That's how you solve problems.
Yeah.
But I digress. Now you still out there, right?
Yes.
All right, all right. So all right. So let's do this. I'm gonna share screen, and I'm pretty sure I have your class pulled up in Edgenuity. And I probably have my Google Calendar pulled up too. So ignore this calendar entry
Okay.
and ignore my windows going everywhere and this other window that I have open. Oh, these windows drive me crazy. Yeah, take that and move it right there and it'll leave you alone. Okay, so let's head off to Edgenuity. Keep this session open because it's already on Heaven's pre-cal class. So let's slide back one page. Okay, so watch me work here. I am editing the options for your pre-cal class, one of which is your target date. Now, that target date is probably set, yeah, it's set right at 9 weeks. And what we will do is, okay, we got another window problem here. Sorry. Don't worry about that. That doesn't stop us from doing anything. All right, so if we go out to October 25th, that's the week of Halloween. All right, so let's watch that. I don't want to make it due during Thanksgiving. That's what I'm paying attention to here. I could do it here, here, here. And I wouldn't want to make it due right after Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do is go for I'm going to go for December 7th.
Okay.
And if we need to adjust, we will adjust again because December 7th is at least 2 full weeks before the end of the fall semester. And that will give us a chance to comfortably look at Pre-Cal B. I'll probably be able to go ahead and enroll you in that class and talk through what's going to happen in that class with you. And you probably would be okay going ahead and starting on it before the end of the semester.
Okay.
You probably would be okay working on it over the holiday if you were so motivated, but you may not want to do all of that either. So either way, yeah, the option would be there. And if anybody asks me, and I'm sure somebody will, I would say in my estimation as who the actual teacher who has worked with the student knows what's going on, but knows in such a way that would benefit from taking a more patient approach. This is calculus, y'all. This ain't tiddlywinks and it ain't arithmetic. If anybody got a better approach, I'm a hush now and let y'all tell me what it is. and I'm not going to have anybody tell me anything. So this will work. This will work fine. And then to make it all cement, I need to save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So when you look at the pacing now, you may see something that gives you a little more grace and stops telling you how bad you are doing. I never, Heaven, I never look at those screens. I'm the teacher. I never look at them because they
Wow.
drive me crazy. And I understand that. And see, they fool you because you look at them and you say, oh, I better get on the stick. And I ain't going to even lie to you. There are certain students where that approach benefits me because they're not going to do what I ask them to do. They need some external motivator. And that becomes the external motivation. When their parents log in and see those red bars and they start taking away phones and suspending other privileges because you are behind progress. And they never stop to ask, well, who defined the measure of this progress? Who made these rules? Watch out now. I'm making one of those double-edged commentaries that I am prone to make. There are lots of people who stand up and say, this is how it ought to be. And there are lots of people who align themselves with that without even stopping to ask, hey, how did you get to decide how it ought to be for everybody else? So yeah, I have just touched on the world of politics as we know it. That's what politics is. It's the assigning of power and
Yeah.
the way it is transferred and utilized. And lots of people assign power to themselves. And then they make everything in society line up with their standards as if their standards are the standards. And there are lots of people who agree with that and simply follow suit. And then there are
Yeah.
people like me who were born thinking, who say, wait a minute, man, wait a minute,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I didn't just fall off the cabbage truck, and I might have been born last night, but brother man, I stayed up all night. So I am fully awake. You ain't gonna slip that one by me. But I digress. So I didn't know what we were gonna do today, but I think we ended up doing the most productive thing we could have done. Now, I still want you to get back on that horse, but I'm gonna let you do that when you're ready to do it. I don't want you to get on that horse stressed, because if you ride a horse stressed, guess where that stress is gonna go? It's going straight to the horse.
Mm.
And you don't want to stress a horse out, because horses will act a natural born fool when you stress them out.
Yeah.
You stroke their mane, they will calm down, and then they will do right. But yeah, you don't want to transfer stress to it. Oh no, you don't want to do that. Yeah. So I even looked at your schedule this morning and I said, all right, I wouldn't think that these other two classes would be stressing her too bad. I didn't look at your grades. I just saw that you had 3 classes. So I said, yeah, she probably has a manageable load. And it may even be frustrating that this is the part of the load that is the hardest part to manage. Well, the encouragement here is, well, you got 2 other classes that won't bother you, which will
Yeah.
give you time to be bothered with pre-calculus and wrestle with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you don't become a mathematician, you're going to be stronger for the experience of having wrestled with something that you are well on your way to understand it, right? You're well on your way to understand it. You just put a little more time into it, and you will learn to see in a different way, in a different mode than you may be used to. And once you open yourself to that experience, who knows what you might want to do with it. There aren't a lot of people out there who are able to visualize in 3 dimensions. Those people become dancers and artists, and
Yeah.
yeah, they become special people when you're able to see the world in 3 dimensions with your eyes closed. You'll be able to do lots and lots of things. Now, I don't know if you could tell the other day, because you and I were doing what you and I, we were focused on the lesson at hand. Could you tell that Jack understands all this stuff?
Um, yeah,
Yeah, trust me, he understands it. And he is able to see in 3 dimensions in a way that looks easy. And it's not because it's easy, it's not because he's a boy genius. I promise you, Heaven, he's been exposed.
yeah,
And he's been exposed over a long period of time. It's been part of his life for as long as he can remember. And here's the punchline. But he still struggles. And he struggles with work ethic,
yeah,
which is not good or bad. That just is. That is. I can tell that's where his struggle lies. So it is of no real benefit or advantage to have a whole bunch of talent and tools, ability and confidence, and to not be willing to work. That'll get you nowhere, and that'll get you nowhere faster than not knowing what the heck is going on. That'll get you nowhere a whole lot faster. And see, he and I don't get to talk like you and I get to talk because he doesn't show up. Now, the funny thing is, if you show up, you realize there's a whole lot more going on here than me taking the role. But you got to show up to see that. And
exactly.
most folks don't show up. Many are called, Heaven, but few are chosen. You know who gets chosen?
Too.
The people who show up. Please remember that if you don't remember anything else I tell you for the rest of our time together. The people who show up are the people who get chosen. Every time you say, oh, how in the world did they pick him? Well, he showed up. He showed up. Now, some people are born into it. Yeah, some people are born into it. Some people are born into incredible advantages and will still waste them because they won't show up, Heaven, because they don't think they have to.
Yeah, that's like it's so weird because that's how it is in like all of my classes. I'm the only person that joins the call, so it's just me and like teachers. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
crazy.
I know I told you. I know I said it the first day I saw you, and I know I said it afterwards. But yes, you are a very rare breed at the PLC.
Yeah, I can tell.
Very rare. And I have worked with some students that I absolutely adore that I can get to show up maybe a little bit more than they might have previously. But I know that the pandemic has not been good for whatever work ethic and discipline and accountability we were putting in place up until that point. Because, see, everybody is left to their own devices now. Everybody can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And several of your classmates have said all they're doing is fill in the blank. Well, they're just taking the role. Well, he just talking. Every time I log in, he just talking. And they excuse themselves as if there is no permission needed. And I make a note of that. I said, well, there ain't no permission needed, man. You really do have free will to roam this earth and do whatever you want to do. But now the punchline is you also get to reap the consequences of that benefit. You get to choose whatever you want to do, and then you have to accept whatever happens based on what you do.
Yeah.
That sounds threatening. Are you going to suspend me? No, man. I don't have the power or the time to suspend you. This ain't that kind of party. This ain't that kind of party. What is going to happen though is whatever benefit might have been derived from me and you talking, you will never see that benefit,
Yeah.
and vice versa. I'm not going to get anything out of not having been able to talk to you. I'm going to learn something from talking to you if you come in and talk to me. But if you don't, then we both will miss on that opportunity, and we'll have to accept whatever happens because of it. So anyway, I'm gonna stop beating that dead horse before I stress that dead horse. But yeah, it doesn't shock me that there aren't a lot of people showing up. I keep count of the number of kids I engage every day, either by Zoom or by email at least, or phone call, text. And it's around 11. It's been averaging around 11 a day for the first 4 weeks. So in our block, you've seen Jack twice. I've seen Jack twice. Ocean will come every day, but she doesn't stick around. Jose has been here twice. Sit Lolly has probably been here 4 or 5 times. Now I know Sit Lolly's situation, so anytime I see her, I'm glad to see her. And when I don't see her, I kind of know what's going on. And then in second block, I think I have about 4 folks that come to second block. I have maybe 3 that come to third block. I used to have a very big fourth block group, and there's one faithful student who has some internet challenges. So she's been pretty good about the days her internet is acting up. She doesn't log in, but she will email me and let me know that she's working. But that's it. That's about 11 kids out of the 40 that I'm supposed to teach. And one day somebody's going to ask me about that, and I'm going to give them a very honest answer. And then I'll have to accept whatever comes after that. I don't think anything terrible is going to come from it. But we can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? We can't be naive and think that kids aren't going to do exactly what they feel and want to do because we're not bringing them to this school building and putting them under all of these authoritative rules. They're kind of free to do whatever they're going to do. And that's tricky. So you still out there, right? Hello?
Oh, I didn't even know it muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I
But
thought you.
yeah, I heard you.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, I really am gonna get off my soapbox now. I'm off. I'm completely off.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, the next step will be yours. Now I do want you to come on back to frame 8 or 9, whichever one we left off on,
Yeah.
because I looked at the rest of it, and as weird as it is at first glance, after glancing at it a few times, I see what's going on now. Like I completely see what's going on.
Okay.
So it's not that bad now, but I want you to rest and dust yourself off and say, all right, coach, I'm ready to get back on that horse. And then we will proceed from there. But trust me, it's not that bad.
Okay.
All right. So I would say, well, no, I won't say that. I was going to say, I hope you'll be ready to roll tomorrow. I'm not going to say that. I hope you'll come around tomorrow. I'll say, hey, I'll say, how you doing? I'll say what you're up to. And then you'll let me know. And if you're not up to pre-cal, then we will save it for another day. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to let you make the next move to get back on the horse and just let you know that this one ain't that bad. We'll get through it.
Yeah. I'm gonna um I'm gonna go back through like the lesson and stuff and see if there's anything like I might have missed that will help me out. But I'm gonna still try on it, and if I need the extra help still, then um tomorrow we can work on it.
Okay, and tell me this now, because I don't know. If you want to do the whole assignment again, are you able to just restart it on your own, or do I have to restart it?
Oh, I can just go back to the other frames and restart it.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, so I now give them my full blessing. Yeah, this is kind of out there, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in the way that they are relating the ideas. This is not the worst thing I've ever seen. It'll work out.
Okay. Uh, thank you.
Okay, all right. Then we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye bye.